Yeah, hey everyone, Brian with you from TheGameCommon, and we are doing our AI-only series here with the New Frontier civs, and I think everything's working. I'd started this episode, but my computer just did not like it, so we just restarted everything, and I think we're good. All right, so where do we leave off? Well, we had Grand Colombia smack dab, or sorry, this is Ethiopia, but we had Grand Colombia smack dab in the middle of a couple civs fighting some civs off, but managing to do a pretty dang good job. We were looking like Teddy was going to end up jumping in on someone, but they still haven't quite done that yet. They're actually having open borders. Interesting. So Teddy has open borders right now with Ethiopia, which I thought they didn't like each other. I mean, they don't really like each other. So is Teddy then going all the way over to France? France doesn't have... Why though? But why? You have like Grand Colombia right there. France is currently at war with Grand Colombia. Let's go ahead and put yields up so we can actually, not yield, score. Yeah, so we can see the combat strength here. France is extraordinarily weak, which is maybe why Teddy's going that way, because she's weak. But like, you would never be able to hold anything there unless he's coming to kill the barbarians. But I don't think that's likely either. How is this war going? Grand Colombia's got a huge army. Yeah, they got a decent sized army. I think the bigger threat to France right now would be the Mayans, simply because they are just ridiculously overpowered at this point. What is that? I guess because they're all linked together? All right. All right, we got some triangle stuff thingies going on. I don't know. You gotta always love these AI only and like the random bugs they produce. It's just great. So Kumana is going to flip here eventually. I'm assuming it's going over to Teddy. We didn't even really look at what we're at here. So Teddy, Grand Colombia are both in normal ages. Everyone else is dark age. Ugh. What era is this? Modern? Okay. So have we seen any planes yet? No. I don't even think we've seen infantry. I think the newest thing we've seen is the Rough Riders, right? I don't think anything... Oh, well, AT, that's true. Yeah, the AT. We hadn't seen, though, the advanced AT, which, wondering, how far away would that be? Let's look at Grand Colombia and let's pop into the tech tree here and see if we get any sort of idea. So... he really doesn't have that much knowledge yet in any of the later stuff. I wonder if Teddy has a little bit more. Grand Colombia has more science, but I think Teddy had more science for the longest time. Nah, he's kind of in the same boat right now as well. Maya actually is rolling. She's probably going for a science victory. So the thing is, since we don't have a score timer, what happens at turn 400? Who's the winner? I don't think that's going to be an issue because I imagine someone's going to win by turn 300. Yeah, still not much more knowledge either, so I'm fairly certain someone should be able to win a rocket, a science victory, but by turn 300. I would be kind of shocked if that didn't happen, really. And cultural here, too. Grand Colombia's not doing so bad. Religious is probably not going to happen, but, you know, it is what it is. Teddy, we do have a flip over here in Kumana, but that's not really a particularly great town. Is Teddy still settling? See, you got to keep in mind, there's still, like, this huge island over here that just no one's really settled on. France has 2 islands down there on top of each other, and Teddy's about to throw down another one. So there is just a lot of space to grow. Now, Ethiopia was the one with the vamps, right? You got the Twilight units, correct? Trying to think like Edward. I was like, wait, is that his name in Twilight? I was like, wait, what's the name of the movie? I've literally never seen it. So yeah. Emily kind of liked the books, but you know, she never made me watch the movies because I think she wouldn't even agree that the movies aren't particularly great. Bordeaux took a lot of damage. I'm wondering, is that from the vampires? Are you at war with Ethiopia? I think you were at war with Ethiopia and you pieced out. What are those vampires rolling at with combat strength? Cursier. Now, here's actually one thing I don't know. I'm assuming when it says strongest melee unit, it would take the cores. So it would take the AT cores, which would be pretty freaking ridiculously strong. ATs are what, 80? 75? I'm trying to remember what ATs are. They're 70, so plus 10 would be 80. Yeah, that would be pretty dang good right now. Especially since they don't come with any of the negatives typically associated with AT. So, like, they can fight infantry, you know? And, I mean, they're not strong against cav, but they don't get a negative against cav. I think, honestly, if you want to make AT better, you have to have infantry have a negative to cav, or have cav have an advantage over infantry. So there's more of a paper, rock, scissors going on. And it doesn't even have to be a big one. It doesn't have to be like the -15, but like even a +5. Cav is like usually slightly better because let's see, Musketmen are 55. But then like Cav is like what, 63? Knights are like 48 compared to 36. So they already usually have a slight advantage. The problem is they're kind of in that weird time frame where you don't necessarily have the better Cav unit compared to like a lot of times with Musketmen, you'll still be fighting them with Knights. So, you know, it's not necessarily as great off the top. So I do think it would be cool if there was just a slight policy, or not even a slight policy, but just a slight a version where, you know, because AT gets the advantage against Cav, infantry gets the advantage against AT, so it only makes sense then that Cav should get an advantage against infantry. But anyways. How does it work in the in-game? Because infantry's 7, AT was 70 as well, so they're both 70. And then tank is like 80 something, right? So that, I mean, once again, but here's the thing. Tanks are expensive. More than that, they do more damage, but they also, you also pay for it in cost and everything like that, production costs and everything. So yeah, they're technically better and higher damage. And here's the thing. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because eventually you just get to the robot, the death robot, and then everything, like, it just doesn't matter at that point what you have and what you're using. So I don't think it would be overbalanced. Canal got pillaged. Is it because of flooding? I assume it's because it's flooding. Although I think you just hadn't repaired it because it looks like the flood barrier's up. Is this flood barrier done? No, you got 22 turns. That one's not going to finish. So you're moving troops over here by Teddy. Okay, so Teddy did declare war. Actually, I think Grand Columbia declared war on Teddy. I think that's more likely what happened here. How did Teddy just have his troops in a full HP encampment? That doesn't make sense. Now, what would be really cool is to watch these cultists go and just flip a bunch of Grand Columbia cities and then just have Grand Columbia. That would be really interesting, especially like because there are some coastal tiles and Grand Columbia doesn't really particularly have a navy, so you could just go and start flipping them via just, you know, sitting here in the water. Like, if only Kinesia also had, like, this lake tile here. Just come in there and just start flipping it. Then the AT and stuff wouldn't be able to fight back. And then they're going to have to go and take their stuff. It would be actually pretty hilarious. So, people love me, actually. I'm taking fewer grievances. Let's do it. Let's declare war on everyone. I also got extra loyalty, and I lost 2 diplomatic victory points. Well, screw you, too. Actually, those might be set. Yeah, they might have set those in stone. Just so I don't really screw with anything. I do love how I had 7 diplomatic. Oh, you know why? Because I keep voting with everyone. I'm wondering if this one, if in the mod they made it so it always votes against me. That would actually make the most sense. So you don't accidentally go out of, well, win. So, you know, a bunch of cultists up here as well with the Mayans. But see, it's like the AI's building all these cultists, but they're not using them. So I don't know they ever got programmed to properly be used. What was the thing we were talking about yesterday when I was recording about something I wanted to go look in? Oh yeah, I wanted to go see what this looks like in the XML files. I need to go look at that. I wonder if I can kind of read what they're doing here with the cultists as well. Because it doesn't, like, what are you even using these cultists for? You're putting them in the offensive, but, like, what are they going to go do? Now, what's interesting is how strong are these walls right now? I assume they're... Yeah, he's got steel up. So they're max level walls. The question is, how much damage are they doing? What's the highest ranged unit he has? I think it's still field cannons. He has no army right now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was probably still only field cannons. I don't know he ever got battleship. And I don't know he ever got machine gun crews. So these aren't going to do that much damage, range damage to these troops. Also, it looks like they didn't peace yet. No. I was going to say, because all these guys are outside the border, but then I see this right there. He actually seems to be passing that. Now, Ethiopia, what are you doing right now? You're doing... yeah, everyone's starting to swell here with force size. France, are you worrying about Maya? Maya did end up declaring war. Dude, Maya, if you don't end up taking rhymes, I'm gonna be very disappointed. I'm gonna be very disappointed. This should not be a hard take, although that encampment is in a fairly okay spot. And it's kind of interesting because this is Callie's encampment as well. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting spot for it. Huh, don't hate on it. She's gonna have a bit of a hard time because she's gonna have to get through this, but she should be able to do it. Especially when you have freaking battleship fleets over here, man. You can outrange it and just start doing some crazy damage. But it's starting to get, like, AI, especially late game, isn't particularly smart when it comes to fighting. Honestly, if you want to stop AI aggression, throw down an encampment. They tend to be pretty bad with it. I'm actually kind of impressed that they're bypassing this encampment and going straight for Philly. Because generally the AI would invest way too much trying to take over this encampment. Just like, I mean, honestly, Teddy should have put the encampment in a slightly better spot. Like, he couldn't have put it on the iron because that was a super early game. But honestly, even like right here would have been better because it's like it would have had zone of control and there would have been no way to actually move troops through here. Unfortunately, what happened here is now he has the road going and so he can just easily bypass this encampment. Now, is he going to be able to take Philly? No, not without any artillery or anything like that. It's getting to the point, like late game, it's just when steel comes out, it's basically impossible for the AI to take anything unless they get like death robots. Just because the AI just doesn't siege well. I would really love it to actually see something like sieging be added into the game where you could just surround the city and just slowly like starve it out. Because at that point, I think the AI would be a lot better at fighting. Just because it's like they would just have to be programmed to actually just sit around the city and not bring units forward. Because ultimately what's going to happen is they're only going to build like one freaking artillery and it's not going to do a whole lot. All right, how are we doing here? We still got a ways to go, man. Anyone start with rockets yet? No. And Simone's still got a bit before he wins there. Simone's at 12 points. Ironically, we might see a diplomatic victory. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be between diplomatic and science. Now, Simone is rolling... Yeah, see, look at this. 525. 426. They're definitely going for science victories. Right now, it should be Maya with the science victory. Should be. But the problem with it, once again, the AI with science victories is they shoot off the first two rockets and then they get really lazy after that. And so we'll have to see if they actually end up shooting them all off. The other thing to keep in mind is with the random text, like you can see she already has cybernetics, but she still hasn't found the rocket sites. That's going to make science victories really interesting from now on because you don't really know where it is. So generally, me, for example, as a player, I know exactly how to do it to basically optimize the science victory. Like go grab rocket sites fairly early and then just basically start grabbing all the different text that you need to win the rocket, to win the science victory, you know, and you can skip a bunch of them that you don't need. Now, unfortunately, what might end up happening is it's going to be a little harder to find. So, you know, optimizing your victory, getting a sub 300 victory is going to be a little more difficult, I think, here in the future. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We got to play a few more games before we can really determine that. Has anyone got the rocket sites? Also, can we talk about this? This seems really early here. This is 2586. Death robot. What was the tech? 2586. No, it's actually really late. 2155. Huh. Yeah, that's really late. So it should technically be here. Yeah, this would be average cost. That's true. Yeah, that's true. I guess there's... Yeah, because it is somewhat early in the tech tree. But anyways, I don't think anyone has death robots. No. Nor has anyone still gotten the rocket site. And that's what kind of sucks right now is the fact that no one has rocket sites. Just because we would really... She's actually researching it, so she discovered it. Where is it? Oh, it's way up there. That is super early. 1480 for rocketry? What? Right? I think this is like 2K, isn't it? Nope, it's actually right on cue. Huh. Huh. Is computers also 1480? Because I think computers was before or after? This one shouldn't be the same. Yeah, 1660, so computers was a little early then. All right, so the AI just was really bad at finding it. So she's researching rocket sites, so she should be able to get it soon. She's got modern armies, tank armies, so yeah, her combat strength right now is just going to be kind of ridiculous. Colombia, or Ethiopia rather, has just like bumped up that power, man. Yeah, he's going pretty strong. Remember, he was pretty weak there for quite a while. Simone isn't doing so hot, mostly because I think he's wasting a bunch of troops trying to take over America. Now, the one thing that does help against steel is when the AI starts using tanks, specifically modern tanks, and they get like a tank army. At that point, they can pretty much get through steel without too much work. Now, the biggest issue here is Teddy's not really too far behind. Teddy's got some pretty high defensive strength here at 102. So even like this tank core, which should be what, 90, isn't really going to do much damage at all. Because you figure, A, it's 12 points less, which means if it charges into the city, it would basically get 2 hit, number one. But that is before the fact that you consider it actually is more than 102 because it has walls and it gets like, what, plus 15 for the defensive strength. So in reality, I'm not saying the tank would get 1 hit, but it would definitely be 2 hit. Now down here with 89, this one's a little more, has a little more potential. Now, did you actually use the cultist? I don't know. Also, Teddy's got the P-51s rolling. Okay. Now, I actually don't know how the P-51s, because I don't know I've ever used them. How do they compare to fighters? So they have 105 melee, 105 range strength, 2 flight range, plus 5 combat strength against fighter aircraft. Okay. Yeah, so it's just 105 compared to 100. With a little bit of extra range. So it's not really that significant. The thing is, planes are really good at taking out units. Planes are not particularly great at taking out cities. Now, I wonder planes should have an advantage against helicopters. I feel like they should. They also have an advantage too against death robots, don't they? Like, I think early on until death robots get the upgrade, death robots actually get a pretty large negative against planes. So, Rhymes never ended up getting flipped. Very disappointed here, Mayan. Very disappointed. She didn't really lose any combat strength, so I'm not entirely sure. Why am I clicking on her? I don't know. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what she was doing. I just don't know she ever crossed the river. She's still at war. I mean, France is pretty defensive here. The irony is the fact that Kabul is still being held on over here by Gran Colombia, because this is not the easiest one to hold. But just this whole island here in general is not the easiest to navigate. And AI just is not great with, you know, trying to progress through waterways. Now, this is kind of hilarious here. Oh, that actually is great. So, Burget Lake and Lake Aguilera, I know I'm butchering them, they're French, basically just flooded into one large lake. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's great, dude. That's great. I love it, love it, love it. Hey, yeah, so they must have had this auto-programmed. Dude, I think someone's going to win a diplomatic victory here. I do. Simone's up to 14. How are the rockets? She still hadn't built a rocket site yet. She's building them. Kind of slow, though. Yeah. Interesting. And I don't know. I wish we could look at productions from the city. That would be a very nice lens to see. So we could see how much production all these AI cities are making. This does not seem like a high production city. Is this your industrial zone? Yeah. Still, I don't think that has that much production. This one doesn't look like it has that much production. I mean, she does have industrial zones in them, but still. And like, you don't even have the mines improved there, the aluminum. And then she was building the third one here. El Mirador probably seems like it has the best production out of all of them, I would think. My point is, she's not building it here in her capital, which I think would probably have her highest production. Or maybe Itza. Because these would be like her first 2 towns. So that's where I was just kind of like, interesting. I feel like you should be building it elsewhere. Just kind of my thought. Anyone else knock out that tech yet? He's carbon recapturing. Don't do that, man. Come on, no. That's not cool. No. We want meteors to fall from the sky. No recapturing, man. Everyone, screw up the environment. We should vote to ban. Not ban a resource, but like, I wish you could ban clean energy. That should be in the game. Come on. Come on, just look at America. Oh, Teddy's actually shooting off our satellites. All right, yeah, Teddy's always really good when it comes to science victories. I don't know why. He just tends to do them quicker than everyone else. But anyways, just like look at the American party, like America right now, and how many people think global warming's a hoax and stuff like that. There should literally be freaking things where you could vote against carbon recapturing. Not necessarily even carbon recapturing, but just against clean energy. Maybe like make it more expensive or something like that. I mean, I don't know how you would do that because you couldn't really. Yeah, it wouldn't really be able to carbon recapture, and you could delete nuclear or ban nuclear power plants, which makes sense because some people, and understandably, nuclear power can be dangerous, even though I think for the most part it's fairly safe nowadays, I think. Although isn't solar and wind and thermal and water, like, I'm trying to think isn't that kind of like where everyone's talking the future is and not necessarily nuclear? Because the problem with nuclear is it creates that waste which you just can't get rid of, which is why I think most nations have been moving away from nuclear energy. Which is kind of interesting that you have these different power plants, but like, I mean, I guess you could do dam power. There should be thermal power though. I think so. I think they should add in thermal power as another clean energy source, because nuclear power still pollutes, right? Nuclear power plant. One uranium, minuscule, so it still does pollute. So it still has a slight pollution problem. All right, so Operation Ivy being popped out, so that means we have some nukes being popped out here in Mayans. Or they may already have some nukes. Are we likely to see nukes? If we could see everyone's agenda, that would be a really good way to tell, because someone might have the nuclear agenda, which would be absolutely wonderful. All right, so Teddy is shooting off the first one. He might have actually already shot it off. I think he did. Where was the site? Was it in Washington? Oh no, he's got 2 turns left, okay. Diplomacy, oh, Simone's actually gonna win here. He's at 18 points. You know what's happening? Because the AI has to vote for me to lose 2 points, diplomatic victories are just getting won way too early. We might have to disable diplomatic victories here in the future. Because if they're just going to always vote against it, it's just going to be instant wins here. Because the only check that the AI has from winning diplomatic victory is losing 3 points, or losing 2 points now. And if that never happens, then they will never end up losing. Like, it'll always be a pretty early diplomatic victory. I mean, it's 282. Well, this is going to be kind of disappointing if this is the end of the game already. Yeah, seriously. We might end up doing another run. I think I'm going to do another run with the same group, especially since this is, going to turn into 3 episodes. And then we'll go from there and see. Now, maybe we should do it again with diplomacy and actually see if it happens again. Because that's kind of, I mean, no one else is anywhere close. So maybe it's just a one-off. Kind of like, oh, hey, the AI actually won a religious victory. That never happens. Yeah. So I don't want to restart the episode because, like, right now it's probably the time for us to wrap up episodes. But I think we got to keep going because I'm pretty sure here Colombia's going to win in 13 turns. I wonder if there are... God, I just wish you could see the emergencies because we could tell if he was about to win again. He is doing a lot of carbon recapturing, which to me says there might be an emergency for that. I'm just going to be really disappointed because we're not going to freaking see any climate change, man. Dude, he's already got the seasteads. That's crazy. How early are seasteads? World enters information age. Nah, he just kind of rushed out seasteads. He does have rocketry. Basically, everyone's shooting off rockets now. Teddy's already got the first 2 rockets out, which, you know, like I said, this is where the AI pops it out and then just kind of like gets lazy for a while. He does have smart materials not too far away, so if he does want to shoot that 3rd rocket off, he's not too far away, but I would not anticipate seeing it. He has low coal, which is kind of strange, but sure. And by he, I mean she. Kabul's actually flipping. What happened here? Gran Colombia got a dark age, so did Maya. Normal age for France and Colombia and, sorry, Ethiopia. God, every time. And then Teddy with the golden age. Why do I always mix them up? I think it's because they're like two of the more obscure. Like, I think if Byzantium was in the game or it was an alternate leader for like Rome, like Caesar or something like that, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be mixing it up. But because it's two like rather, I don't want to say unique civs, but two civs that like I'm not really used to seeing, I think I'm just mixing them up constantly. Just because I don't have them in my brain yet. Okay, so how many turns left? We got 8 turns left, and then we're anticipating probably a win, because it's going to be very easy to get a few points here. Now, he's also losing Sia over here as well, because Teddy got a golden age? Dude, Teddy's pulling on a late game, man. Nueva Barcelona? That would have been Gran Colombia. Yeah, he must have settled out. There's no way. Unless he has so many cities, he's starting to take other people's cities. But doesn't it go down by alphabetical? Like, isn't it start with, like, Teddy's cities and then go to, like... I doubt it would go to Nueva Barcelona. Because that should be New Barcelona. Media shower over here. So that wouldn't be Spain, because Spain wouldn't call it New Barcelona. So the only one that would have a Spanish city would be Gran Colombia. Because Brazil would be Portuguese. Chile wouldn't have New Barcelona. I would have seen it by now. So that has to be Gran Colombia. How does your water park get pillaged? Seriously. It must be the war. Must be the war. He's at war with Colombia and... Ethiopia! And France. Now, I think he declared war on France. Kabul still has not flipped. Pretty close, though. So he's in a very awkward spot. He needs to win here in 3 turns, or he might find himself in a very, very bad spot. Like, this is flipping in 2 turns. Yeah, if he can't win the diplomatic victory, there's no way that Gran Colombia would be able to pull out a victory here. But if he does pull it out here, then GG. Simone... Okay, that one's not going to give points to Simone. So sorry, buddy. Yeah, he needs someone else to get that emergency. I wonder what that was. Volcano? Yeah, volcano. Dude, those are some sexy tiles, man. Especially if you had the ley line signs here. Oh, that would be really good. Production's kind of bad, but still. I would not put my spaceport there. Just going to throw that out there. I would maybe put it a tile or 2 away. This bumped back just a little bit, which is interesting. I think we had a flip, yeah. Cancia, and it looks like Teddy's going to be able to go grab it because all Gran Colombia has is cultist right now. By the way, I keep seeing this and I see Budget Lake, which would just be hilarious. Yeah, I wish you could rename things. Like, I just want to see it like you walk across the river and it's like, you found a new river. Do you want to name it? Like, I mean, I love the idea of it auto-naming. That's so cool. But I think, you know, because, like, what's one of the best things about the game is being able to name cities, but then also being able to name religion and stuff like that, even though I'm kind of lazy when it comes to cities. I think it would be really awesome to be able to name rivers and stuff like that. Okay, so here's the thing. Did Gran Colombia just win? Pass. Loses 2. So he failed. He didn't get that one. No amenities on bananas. What? How did bananas win? So these must auto happen then. Yeah, these must auto happen. Because no one's voting for these. So what does that mean? It looks like Gran Colombia did not win. Kind of sucks, buddy. Kind of sucks, buddy. So, oh, he's up to 19 points, though. How did he get the other 9? From Congress participation. Where did he get the 1, though? I don't know where he got the 1, because he didn't win any of those. Oh, you know what it was? It was a vote for... Yeah, it was a vote to have the Nobel Prize, or it wouldn't be the Nobel Prize, it'd be the CO2 thing or whatever. So that means he should definitely win in 30 turns. Because he should be able to get that 1 point, I think, from that same victory. There's still going to be another World Congress, right? Yeah, because we're only in the information age. Because there's still one more, right? Right? Either way, we're going to have one more episode. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, drop a like, comment, let me know what you think. As always, hit the subscribe button, join the game, comment, show your support. So it looks like Ground Columbia is set up for a victory. We're going to see whether or not someone like Teddy can go ahead and ninja it. Maya also is crazy science right now. Where are they at in this tech tree? Yeah, she's working on Exoplanet. Oh, she's working on Lagrange and Terrestrial Station. So she's good just to shoot off the rest of the rockets. She's still working on number 2. 5 turns here. How is this looking here? Space race production. It looks like Ground Columbia is going to be able to grab that. And that would be, it'd be really good for Maya if she could get it. So yeah, we're coming down to the wire. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you tomorrow. Bye everyone.